Civil war is brewing at Real Madrid between Vini Jr. and Xabi Alonso. Meanwhile, Juventus just sacked Igor Tudor. And how did Bournemouth sell over £200 million worth of stars and get even better? This is DMAC Daily. The fallout from El Clasico's latest rendition has been wild. From Bellingham's emphatic return back to the spotlight, Carvajal suffering a fresh 3-month injury blow, and of course a certain 18-year-old rage baiter stirring the pot both on and off the pitch, it's great to see that iconic derby is alive and well, because the good, the bad, and the ugly are what makes El Clasico so captivating. However, following this clash, there could be an even bigger drama unfolding, an internal one in the Spanish capital between Vini Jr. and manager Xabi Alonso, with the Brazilian star visibly furious at being substituted 72 minutes in against Barca. It's believed that Vini was then caught saying, "Always me, I'm leaving the team, it's better if I leave, I'm leaving," before storming down the tunnel. After that match, he took to social media to try and downplay the situation, with Alonso also communicating something similar. And there was no retrospective punishment that followed for the Brazilian. But according to ESPN, who tend to have a credible track record when reporting specifically on Real Madrid, the relationship between the pair is starting to unravel. For the last 4 years, Vini Jr. has been one of Madrid's most influential players. Under Ancelotti, he was borderline undroppable, and in the biggest games became their main guy. Then Mbappe joined last season and struggled to adapt initially, whilst Vini's numbers also reduced. But then the big change came. Xabi Alonso stepped in. In the Club World Cup, the media hyper-focused on Rodrigo's frequent benching, but in that same tournament, Vini was substituted in all but one game. And in the 25-26 season, Alonso's unwavering rotation policy has continued. In 13 appearances this season, he's been benched on 3 separate occasions and has only completed the full 90 in 3 of a possible 13 fixtures. Alonso insists that his decisions are guided by the rigorous demands of their schedule, yet Mbappe has already accumulated over 261 more minutes than the Brazilian. He started every game. Make no mistake, Mbappe is the star forward. He is undroppable, something Vini and his team do not like. Remember, he was expected to sign a new bumper deal at the club despite a lucrative proposal brought forward by the Saudi Pro League. But having since gone from a legitimate Ballon d'Or contender, basically Madrid's centerpiece, to a far less influential figure on the pitch in recent months, the Brazilian is fed up. Having still averaged a goal involvement every 77 minutes in La Liga, he demands that same pedestal treatment as Mbappe. Will he receive it though? I'm not so sure. Moving to Italian football, and what the heliante is going on at Juventus. Just 8 games into the Serie A campaign, and Igor Tudor has been sacked following their latest defeat away at Lazio. Remember, the Croatian joined as an interim coach back in March this year, but the former player then slightly exceeded expectations, steering Juve back into the top 4. So they rewarded him with a 3-year contract extension. The reactions were mixed. Many Juve fans liked Tudor, someone that understood the club and was a defensively minded coach. Think about it, all of Juve's great teams historically were defensively outstanding. But the concern with Tudor was his pragmatism and lack of tactical innovation. Another significant transfer window followed, but the same old problems have re-emerged. Last year, new signings Douglas Luiz, Koop Meiners, Gonzalez all flopped. And in 25-26, a similar scenario is unfolding. Jonathan David has been atrocious, which is really surprising to me considering he's had 30+ involvements in his previous 3 seasons. Conceição's also struggled, as has Openda, while Segrov is yet to really gain match fitness. Beyond the new faces which have underwhelmed, the results and overall performances have been really poor. Bar 2 of the craziest games via Inter and Dortmund, this team has otherwise been a punishing watch. Yildiz has been the only player to step up in recent months, but Juve are still sat 8th in the league. They're winless in the UCL. They're also winless in their last 8 matches, having failed to even score in their last 4. Hence why Tudor's position became untenable. So now what? Well, as of recording, there are no clear favourites for the job. Juve Next Gen's Massimo Brambilla will step in for their Wednesday fixture against Udinese, but in terms of actual replacements, there are quite a few names being mentioned. The highest profile being Zinedine Zidane, a previous Ballon d'Or winner with Juventus, a highly respected coach too, but considering the current state of this club, I personally doubt the Frenchman would join. The more logical options available include Mancini, Spalletti, Palladino, maybe even Terzic, or the GOAT himself, Angelo Postecoglini. Jokes aside though, they gotta get this next appointment right, because this team keeps on regressing year on year. Shifting gears to the Premier League, and little old Bournemouth are moving different right now, having achieved their best ever start to a Premier League season, currently sat second in the division after 9 games. A remarkable achievement considering the stature of this club alone, but it's all the more mind-blowing when you take into account the mass exodus that followed in the 2025 transfer window. Over the summer, they lost over £200 million worth of their best talent in the most competitive league in world football. This scenario is a terrifying proposition for most clubs outside of the Big Six. But with Bournemouth, they've embraced their position in football's food chain. When Man United and Tottenham came calling for Antoine Semenyo this summer, the Cherries said no. Instead, they offered him an improved deal and a quiet promise: keep improving, become a star player, and we'll let you join a giant club in the future. Semenyo trusted them and is now one of the league's premium talents, wanted by all of the Premier League's elite. That kind of honesty and trust is Bournemouth's biggest selling point. They allure talented prospects with the idea that come here, give us everything, and we'll develop you into a superstar, and soon enough you'll be playing at the highest level possible. It's why young talents like Truffert, Milosavljevic, Diakite were happy to come in and replace the stars who left for Real Madrid, Liverpool, PSG. They were also more than happy to sell Utara to Brentford, having signed a present-day solution in Amin Adli and the highly rated youngster Ben Ganandoa. Their multi-club model also came in clutch to poach one of France's most talented teenagers, a player whose ceiling is astronomically high in Eli Krupi. He's already lighting up the Premier League. Again, this kid was wanted by all the big boys, but Bournemouth are the go-to stepping stone club right now. Alex Jimenez being another youngster who, having joined from Milan on loan with the potential option to buy, seems destined to become an elite player in the future. Another selling point to this ambitious project is the Andoni Iraola factor, one of the most tactically astute coaches who seems to be all about backing the youth. Now, do I see Bournemouth maintaining a top 4 position? Probably not, but the counter argument to that is that this team is so young, they're only going to get better in the future. Probably the biggest concern for Bournemouth long term is that Iraola's contract is set to expire next year. But given their recent track record, who's to say they don't already have a capable replacement lined up in the future? This sort of meticulous planning is their blueprint for sustained overachievement. Moving to a team that is drastically underachieving right now, and Manchester City have a serious problem. Because despite Erling Haaland's continued excellence in the final third, a prolific 15 goals in 12 appearances this season, it's the other 9 outfield attacking players that are underperforming so terribly. Haaland has accounted for 65% of their goals in the Premier League this season. But it's even crazier when you realise their second top goal scorer in the Prem isn't even a City player. It's Burnley's Maxime Esteve, who scored 2 own goals for the Citizens. Foden and Cherki both have 1 league goal. Oscar Bob, Savinho, Doku, Marmoush, and Silva have a combined total of 0. Tijani Reinders looked an absolute world beater in their season opener away at Wolves, but he too has somewhat fallen off the boil since. We all thought last season was a minor blip for Pep's otherwise dominant City era, but having then spent just shy of £400 million on this new look side, there are still evident issues present. Take Haaland out of this team, and who's stepping up in his absence? That attacking fragility is a major concern. In their latest fixture away at Aston Villa, their game plan was simple: hyper-focus on stopping Haaland, and it worked. City don't have the personnel to adapt either if Haaland goes missing. The return of set-piece prowess in the Prem has been fascinating this season, but City aren't a menacing threat in that department. So in this current moment, City are just unreliable. Defensively, they're definitely better than they were last season, but offensively, there's a lot of work to be done. Anyways, guys, that's all for today's DMAC Daily. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.